All right, before you watch this exclusive interview podcast with the man behind UofTers, I just want to give a quick disclaimer about our guest today. He has decided to remain completely anonymous, so anonymous to the point where I don't even know what his face looks like. I don't know his name, I don't know his nationality, nothing. He is absolutely anonymous. He told us this was to negate any risk of being harassed by other students online. And for those of you who don't know what UofTers is, it's basically an Instagram page where UofT students come, submit their confessions, their deepest, darkest secrets anonymously. And our guest today, the administrator behind the account, takes these confessions and posts them on Instagram for the entire UofT community to see. The page has over 19,000 followers and has gotten a lot of mixed reactions from students at UofT. If you get the chance, go check it out on Instagram at UofTers_. And you can come up with your own opinions. We talked to him about everything. What's the backstory of UofT? How did the account start? Did he start it? Did he get it passed down to him? Has UofT ever been in touch with him about taking down the account? What is the worst confession he's ever seen? Does he have a confession himself? Is the account fake? You'll get the answers to all of these questions in our conversation. That all being said, let's just jump straight into the pod. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the VoV podcast, Voices of Vic. Today, very special guest, currently anonymous, but we have the man behind the UofTers Instagram page, UofT Confessions. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Thank you for coming on, man. It means a lot. Been organizing it for a while. I think it actually started in the summer. I made a clip about UofTers talking about how crazy the people who submit to it are, how crazy all the confessions are. Was that you that saw that?
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
The stuff that I see, oh God, you don't even want to know.
I'm sure you have a very unique perception of the state of students at UofT, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's like the reason why it was started. It was just to bring out the different feelings, internal turmoils that these students feel.
Yeah. I'll start by just, I guess, asking you the main question, maybe just to give the audience some clarity. Why the mask? Why the anonymity?
So you can imagine that with such a huge account, some people may like what you post, other people may not like what you post. And so I just started this for fun. I don't want to be persecuted for voicing the opinions of students that maybe other students don't agree with. So that's the only reason why I'm wearing this mask. Otherwise, I would be glad to reveal myself. But yeah, I don't want to be attacked or, even shamed online.
Completely understand. Because you do see in the comment sections how some of these people who submit the confessions, they're anonymous too, but they'll get torn into in that comment section. There's a lot of criticism for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And when I took this initiative, I decided, okay, I need to find a way to filter out through any hate speech comments, because that's a huge issue that you can face with these anonymous confessions. And I think that's one of the hardest parts, going through each and every single comment and making sure everything's A-okay.
Yeah. And do you ever get confessions submitted to you that you read over and you just you can't post this? You realize I'm not going to put this up.
Yeah. So I have certain guidelines. The guidelines are, if it reveals another person's identity, if it's not anonymous, that's not getting posted.
Yeah.
If it's hate speech, not getting posted.
What would hate speech be considered?
Hate speech would be considered anything racist, sexist, discriminatory, so stuff like that. Also, if it's in it depends on the circumstance, of course, and the way that confession was presented.
Understood.
I also filter out through any of the bullshit confessions, in the sense that some of the confessions that I'm given are absolute I know they're fake.
Got it.
I can tell they're fake.
Yeah.
People are just like making a joke or whatever. If it's funny as hell, maybe I'll keep it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, like, I want to voice out the opinions of students, like the real opinions of students, as much as some like confessions seem really out there.
That's a good point, because even the ones that do get posted, a lot of the time people are thinking this is fake. There's no way this is true. Like, how do you tell which ones? Because if you're telling me that you don't post the ones that are fake, the ones that you do post, still there are people out here just they can't believe that students could possibly be going through this. What would you say to people who think that the account's fake?
I would say I get like around, like, I have 1,000 confessions right now that I still have to work on, that I have to create a post for.
Wow.
So for me to individually create each confession, that would take so much time. I myself am a UofT student.
Right.
I don't have enough time to be doing that. Plus, the confessions themselves that I get are creative enough to catch attention. So if people are thinking, oh, he's creating these confessions to get more viewership, that's absolutely false. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Y'all that are submitting these are doing all the work.
100%. So even that type of fake, then, like, how do you not know that the people submitting are just lying? Like, they tell it so it's just realistic enough to get posted, but not, so much to be real.
Yeah, there's a fine line. There's really a fine line. Sometimes you can tell if it's like a meme.
Yeah.
Or something. I'm just like, okay, maybe I'll post it, and maybe like the general public will get, okay, this is a meme. Like,
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm just gonna be like, okay, this was obviously submitted as like spam. So
Yeah, 100%.
it takes like a level of discerning what goes and what doesn't.
100%. So most students, I would say, at this school know about U of Tears, at least have heard of the page, right? Heard of the confessions. Just for anyone who's unaware, my grandparents also do watch this, so maybe for them too. It's basically a page U of T students come, anonymously submit their confessions to at U of Tears on Instagram, and he goes and he posts them for the rest of U of T students to see. 19,000 followers. I think there's almost 8,000 confessions on there. That's how I see U of Tears. It's like a page for confessions. What would you, if you had to, in a few sentences, describe to someone who has no idea what it's about, what would you say?
It's the unspoken voice of U of T students. Because of the anonymity, people are able to fully express themselves in whatever they feel. Obviously, the ones that reveal another person's identity, they're not going to get posted.
Yeah.
But if somebody's saying, I feel lonely, I feel horny, I feel whatever,
Yeah.
that's going to get posted, and that represents the voice of U of T students. And I'm students all around, because I'm sure if you did this at any other school, McGill, Western, whatever, it would work out. It would be quite similar, probably.
100%. So what I'm very interested in is the origin of this. Tell me the backstory. How did it all start? Did you start the account, or did someone pass the account on to you? Because 8,000 posts, that's a long time I feel like the account was around for.
Yeah, so I got the account passed down to me.
Got it.
I know that it was started in 2018. That at that time it was passed down to another person, and then it got passed down to me. And now I'm working on it. It's honestly a blast. Like, I enjoy doing it. It's fun.
And so is the plan then for you to pass it down once you're out of school? How does that process go?
I mean, yeah, once I'm out of school, I don't know yet, because I could be doing continuing studies. So I could be at UofT for a very long time.
Yeah.
But once I'm out, obviously I'm going to have to like pass down the torch and give it to somebody else that's in the system, that knows how UofT goes. Because at one point, if I'm out of UofT and I don't know the whole if I don't know the whole T behind UofT,
The culture, yeah.
the culture, then it's not going to be as relevant anymore, I find.
100%. Yeah, that makes sense. So how did you, not that you can reveal too many personal details, but like, what was the process of the account getting passed down to you? How did you end up with the account?
So from what I recall, there was like a Zoom interview process, and there were quite a few interviewees that were there, and essentially they ended up choosing one of us. I ended up being one of the lucky ones that got chosen.
Yeah.
And then the onboarding process was really simple. It was basically like how to create the posts, what to post, what not to post. There's a whole like Google Docs of like the guidelines behind posting. So it's not like I personally created the guidelines. I definitely agree with the guidelines though.
Yeah.
The way they set it up, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recently on your story, this is how we ended up doing this podcast together. You're looking to collaborate with other creators, other personalities, accounts at UofT. What's the reason for that? Like, why are you you're now spreading the wings? Is it to grow the account, or is it for something else?
I mean, it's to, of course, like it's a byproduct. So like, I'm going to grow my account by collaborating with other artists, but so are they.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for both of us, but it's mainly like if it's a small artist or content creator and they go to UofT, I don't mind promoting that.
Yeah.
I'll often get promos for like businesses that aren't necessarily affiliated with UofT.
Yeah.
And for those, I will charge, and I'll put a good price there.
Yeah.
Because I do say, like, if you're a UofT student, if you have a UofT club and you want some form of like promo, like, I'll give it out. Like, I don't mind that. I don't mind promoting school culture. I'm all for that.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. No, I appreciate you coming on here for sure.
Yeah.
Doing us a favor. People will be interested. I honestly think, because it is very cultural. Why do you think it has gotten so much attention? Like 19,000 followers. That doesn't happen on accident. People are actually interested in these confessions. There's something about it. Like, why do you think people are so attracted to that account?
A lot of people, they can relate with the posts.
Got it.
So if somebody's saying, I feel lonely, I feel depressed, damn, it's called UofTers for a reason. Like I'm not even talking about UofTers, the account. I'm talking about the school. That nickname was given for ages. And so people can relate with that. People, whenever they see a confession, they're like, oh, that's so true. That's facts.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's the main reason why it grew in popularity. It's just the relatability of it all.
100%. And I want to get your opinion on this. It is very relatable for some students because people have told me, but do you also think that, like, what is your opinion on it being normalized? Like, some of these posts are wild. So like, do you think that it takes away a bit of the stigma behind like fucking in Robarts? You know what I mean? Like all this kind of stuff. How do you feel about that?
About those posts, honestly, sometimes I look at them and I'm like, is this even real? Like, do people, I'd be walking in Robarts and I'm like looking around and I'm like, yo, are people actually fucking in Robarts? There's no way. When do y'all find time as UofT students studying to fuck in Robarts? Crazy. So I honestly have no idea. For those posts, like sometimes I consider them as like satire posts.
Right.
So if like I'm like, yo, let me give my audience a good laugh.
Yeah.
I'll put them down or like create some outrage.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe they're true. I'm not discrediting them.
Who knows?
They're anonymous confessions.
Yep.
So maybe people are actually fornicating in these places.
Yeah.
I would be shocked though.
It is a little crazy. That's the thing. It's just, it reveals, that's what I mentioned in the video. It was a summer. We stopped doing podcasts. I decided to just make YouTube videos over the summer so the account didn't completely die out. And something I mentioned is that the anonymity really can open up a dark side to people. Like people become very comfortable without accountability. When your name is not attached to it, you'll say anything. Now, there can be a really good side of this to maybe people sharing how they're feeling at UofT if they're feeling depressed or lonely, and they don't need to be made fun of or ridiculed for that type of thing. But then there's also, once again, you open up a completely different dark side to like revealing your deepest confessions, your darkest secrets. And I don't know if that part is very good. Some of these things, like they say that the real you is the person that only you know, which is an interesting point. But the real you could actually be the person that is how you display yourself to the rest of the world. Because the only person who knows yourself, your deepest, darkest secrets, are you. So can that even be the real you? Is the real you your self-perception, or is it how others perceive you? What do you think?
Oh, this is like the different masks you put on.
Yeah.
So like you have like one internal mask, and then you have a mask that you put on in public. I think part of the confessions are sent in just for jokes.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the real them. At the same time, other ones are sent in, and you can genuinely tell that person put in the effort behind that confession. There'll be like these long confessions that I'll have to read, and that person is really going through it.
Yeah.
So I think it takes a level of filtering from me,
Yeah.
but it also takes a level of filtering from the viewer to recognize, okay, how strongly am I going to take this confession?
Yeah.
Is it going to be something like, oh, I f***ed at Robarts and that's that?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be, hey, I'm feeling really lonely. I'm an international student. I haven't seen my parents in I don't know how much time. And like, I need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a huge difference between the different types of posts.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Like, think of the idea. Let's say when I'm working, on the podcast and I get frustrated by something. I don't do this. This is a weird example. Let's take this. I'm working on something. I'm exporting the episode. Something glitches. The whole thing gets cut off. And now my podcast becomes late to upload. And I get mad. I get pissed. Start swearing in my room. Someone gets a video. I didn't know anyone else was in the room, but someone records me swearing and posts it, right? And everyone's like, oh shit, look at Carter. He's this super rageful person. He can't control his emotions. He swears all the time for no reason. Is that the real me? People are going to feel like, oh, gotcha. That's the real you. We now know how Carter acts in real life. But if I'm going to go out into the world and I would never behave like that, I would never start swearing for no reason in front of strangers. Is the real me that person who's going to carry himself properly in the external world, or is it the guy that they caught on video who thought he was by himself?
I don't think it's the guy that they caught on video. Like, for example, you guys could literally clip me saying, I f***ed at Robots, and now everybody's going to think, yo, UofTers, the guy that runs UofTers f***ed at Robots. Yeah. I don't know if that's an accomplishment or, like, it's a taboo.
Yeah.
Most likely a taboo, but it depends if you're like a frat boy and you're like, fuck yeah, he fucked at Robarts. Let's go. He's a dog. He's got that dog in him. But I think like it's mainly like the person you present out in public. You're out in public and you're out at school for like the majority of your time here.
Right.
So the person inside, like the one that they would record, whatever recording they make of you, that can be misconstrued in so many ways.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's an accurate representation of you.
100%. And I feel like that's happening a lot more, especially if you're a celebrity, get caught in public. Like the Hollywood stars get caught for the dumbest shit ever. This guy caught wearing sweatpants at fucking Foodland. Who cares?
Who cares?
Picture of you picking your nose at a restaurant, you get blasted all over Twitter if you're Cristiano Ronaldo picking his nose, right? But it's interesting. If you could give one piece of advice to your followers, what would it be?
Take everything with a grain of salt.
Take everything with a grain of salt?
Do not, obviously analyze the posts. Don't freak out in the comments. You know, like you're allowed to have your opinion. Please express your opinion. Express it kindly. No hate speech. But yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. Not everything, and this goes for everything in life. Not everything in life and in media is presented accurately. And even sometimes the people presenting that information don't necessarily know the validity behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just, you're all smart, everybody watching here. Like, you made it to UofT. Congrats. That means you have relatively analytical minds to discern and to see, okay, is this post solid, or do I have to take a second look at it?
You would hope so, right? You hope the analytical skills are there.
I would hope so, but I'm an optimist, so
Yeah. Maybe it depends on program.
maybe. I'm not, I mean, they usually like send in like their programs, and I put it in like the confession. And they might be getting some wild ones from the engineering community.
Engineering is the wildest program.
Yeah, and they like, I don't know if they're being sent for jokes, because I don't know.
Yeah.
It's anonymous, right?
100%.
I don't even know if like these people actually go to these programs. They might not even go to UofT.
Good point.
It's an open account. The Google Forms is open for everyone.
Yeah.
You never know.
You have to have an individual filter yourself. You can't expect everything to be filtered for you. The last line of defense is your own mind and what you're willing to accept. I think it's more just about sharing it. I think that where it can become a problem is if, let's say, I saw the confession of someone banging at Robarts, and I go tell my friend who trusts me that people are banging at Robarts, right? Because that's where it happens. If he saw the UofTers post, maybe he wouldn't trust it, but because me and him are so close, he'll trust my judgment. That's where you got to be careful. That's how I think this shit spreads.
Fair. Yeah. Fair. I think that's what makes people confess more of these outlandish confessions.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, I view it as a way to voice your opinion, but also it has elements of entertainment to it.
Absolutely.
Even in the comment section, there's elements of entertainment and of community.
Yeah.
Of relatability again. So people in the comment section will often see like very similar comments, maybe not the same, but people will be making jokes.
100%.
You know, some people might be criticizing the post. Some people may be criticizing other people's opinion. And that's fine. You're allowed to have different opinions from others. Just make sure you're doing it without any hate speech.
That's true. Yeah. And I think actually, I didn't think about it. You made a good point how the community of that account comes from the comments. I don't think it's the post. I think that everyone, yes, there's relatability within the post. You did say that, but I think there's even more relatability with the people in the comments saying, this is fucking nuts. This is crazy. And everyone can kind of come together in that way, which I think is cool. Like, obviously there's arguments sometimes about different takes on the post itself, but I think it's cool how, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of similar analyses of what is written in that post. There's always the UofT fitness and athletic recreation club that comments.
Oh.
Do you know them? Are you a part of them? I always thought that you and that account were like the same person.
You know what? Everybody thinks that. I met the guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who I am.
Okay.
So
you met him, but he doesn't know who you are.
Well, no, I obviously didn't go up to him like, hey, by the way, I'm the guy behind UofT.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But I met him, and yeah, he's a pretty funny guy.
Got it.
Like, respect to that guy for commenting, and respect to all the other people that are commenting. Like, I know there's one, Artifice Intel.
Yeah.
Broski's been on that grind.
Who's Artifice Intel?
He's a guy that comments all the time on the posts.
Yeah.
So and I think he's been like a day one. He's been commenting since 2018, 2019,
Respect.
since he enrolled. So
Respect.
yeah, shout out to everybody that's commenting on the posts, that's sharing their opinions. And in terms of like the fitness and mental health dude, I think clubs like that are really making an impact
Yeah.
on the school. And like a lot of times I'll even see like whatever he's writing or whatever other people are writing, and I'm like, yo, this is funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this reaction is funny.
100%.
But at the end of the day, like when you delve deeper into these clubs or organizations that are commenting and promoting on my account, they really have like good intentions, I find. So
Yeah.
if you're a UofT student, join a club. I would recommend that.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you actually another, it's kind of personal. How do you feel having an account with 19,000 followers? Not a lot of people get to do that, right? Not a lot of people get to open their phone and see so many people interacting with their posts, so many likes. Everyone, if you want to post something on your story, a bunch of people are going to see it. Do you ever want to, like, have you ever wanted to convert that to maybe something of your own, like something personal? Because there's a bunch of people who love UofTers, but nobody knows the guy behind the scenes. Like, have you ever wanted the attention coming to you instead of the account? Like, how do you deal with that?
No, not necessarily. Like I don't need the clout.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily want it. Again, it's a double-edged sword. It can either be beneficial for me and, I don't know, bolster my personal brand, not that I have one.
Yeah.
Or it can be detrimental in the sense that I'm getting bashed or I'm getting messages from random people I don't know criticizing me every day, and that can take a toll on your mental health for sure. So not really. Like the account isn't really for personal gain. It's mainly just to share the voices of the students.
That's awesome.
And it's for fun.
Yeah. So once the time comes, once you need to hand the account down, once again, don't need to share too many personal details, but what are your ventures going to look like after that? What's your life after university?
After university, I mentioned like continuing studies. I'm not sure yet what it could be. Anything that my immigrant parents will support: medical school, law school, business school.
Yeah.
You get the gist of it.
100%.
But I'll pass it down, and I'll make sure that the next person that has this account knows how to properly run it, because I don't want it to go down in flames. It's valuable data, actually, even.
That's true.
For UofT. I think somebody should really do some research on these confessions.
Yeah.
'Cause damn, it can really bring light to the officials at other universities.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of mental health and what they could be doing to better their education. These anonymous confessions can really help with that, I think.
Yeah. And when it's something cultural like this, where it's student run, it's not a professor sending you to your UToronto email asking for a review of the class, right? That's a little more official. This is very cultural, and it seems more real, and seems like something students are more willing to do. Has UofT ever reached out? Like, has any sort of official, maybe even the students union, reached out to you, and whether they were looking for confessions data or just asked you about the account?
Never actually. And I find that may be a mistake in terms of on UofT's part.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, it's not one of those like anonymous reviews of a class. Even then, do you really know if it's anonymous? Like sometimes when I'm submitting those anonymous reviews, I'm like, should I be saying this? Like, what if they know who I am?
Yeah.
In actuality, what if it's not anonymous, and I completely like bashed a professor that I didn't like?
True.
And then my grade just like goes down.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
possible.
that's my fear.
It's possible.
Whereas here, nothing's
Google Forms.
nothing's gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who you are.
Nothing's collected. No emails. Nothing.
No, there are no emails.
Yeah.
I don't know who's submitting it.
Mm-hmm.
No idea.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, you definitely think that someone would look to reach out. Research on that would be super interesting.
Yeah, you know, like UofT prides itself as being like such a huge research school. I think that would be very valuable and interesting research. It would be, how do students feel at such a prestigious university? What are their opinions, thoughts? You know?
Absolutely, yeah. It might be a little scary. You got like a 65-year-old tenured professor who's now getting all this data about like fucking in robots. Yeah, I don't know what he would do with that.
It could show the frequency of, I guess, horniness.
Right.
I don't know a better word for that.
I don't know how
Sexual
great that,
promiscuity.
I don't know how great that paper would look with the U of T name on it.
Hey, still research.
Yeah.
Any research is valuable.
Another question I had. I think everyone wants to know. What is the worst confession you've ever seen?
Oh, I mean, there are so many. Obviously, if it deals with suicide or any triggers, I will make sure to put a trigger warning in as part of the post and make sure to link valuable mental health resources for that. And I think it's important to share these things because often they get overlooked. Everybody's just looking at the account, haha, funny. There's so many other like posts that can be taken as satire, but when it comes down to like the real essence of it all, these posts, they're not frequent. They don't come up often, but I will get like suicide confessions. And I remember scrolling down almost to the bottom and reading this one confession about a guy that he's claimed to get falsely accused of SA.
Yep.
And like he was going through court and all that, and I was just like, damn, like if this is actually true, this guy has like a wild ass story. Or there was another one talking about the Russian mafia, which again, it could be fake, but if sometimes I think to myself, if this is real, that is messed up. Yeah. That's wild.
And it's not like you can even reach out to help them. It's anonymous.
It's anonymous.
You can't get back to them.
Yep. I don't know their email. I don't have their contact information.
Can't get the police involved. They're not going to know.
Nothing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you feel power from it?
Do I feel power? I mean, in a sense, yeah, I have a lot of responsibility associated with whose voice I get to put out.
Right.
But at the same time, if it's most of the confessions actually get posted. Yeah. Unless it's one of those spam confessions, like if somebody just puts down a period, I'm not gonna post that. Obviously. Or if I can genuinely tell it's a meme, I'll be like, okay. Yeah. I get it.
100%.
Maybe if the meme is funny enough, and I'm like, oh, people are gonna laugh at this.
Yeah.
Then sure.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Do you have any confessions?
I've never actually confessed on it. No.
You never confessed.
And I'm being completely honest. I haven't even thought about confessing.
You don't got anything to confess.
I don't feel like I have much to confess. I feel like
if you had to drop one on the pod.
Drop one on the pod. I feel like my life is not as exciting as it seems, as all of everybody else. I feel like everyone else confessing has just such a wild maybe imagination or life that I'm like I can't even compare to that. Like, that's funny. Maybe that's my confession.
There you go.
There you go.
How do your parents feel about you running the account? Do they know? Do they even care?
Yeah, my mom knows about it.
Yeah.
She's okay with it.
Yeah.
They don't really care.
Yeah.
Because I remain anonymous, it doesn't impact my personal life.
100%.
And again, I don't want it to impact my personal life.
100%.
I remember at one point, I was going to class, and there were people going over a UofTers confession, and I was just like in the back, like smirking, like, damn, if only you guys knew.
Yeah.
it was me running this.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could ask you so many questions. That's funny. Well, hopefully they watch this, right?
Hopefully.
How many people know that you run the account? Like, you obviously have a social circle. You got a few friends. Like,
Yeah.
do they know about it?
Yeah. So my really close friends know about it, and I would say like my parents.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like how many close friends?
I would say 3.
3.
3. Yeah.
Keep it tight.
Keep it tight. Yeah.
Even on this pod, I'll just tell him right now, like when he was waiting in front of the residence building, I had to come down. Already, you were repping the ski mask.
Already, yeah.
After this, we've been talking for about an hour. If I see you on my way to campus, I won't even know it's you. I won't be able to say hi.
No. Yeah.
You'll know.
Maybe people will recognize me by my voice.
Right.
Maybe. But again, there's so many voices out there that
100%.
Who knows?
Who knows? It's hard. It's hard for sure.
Plus, I could be changing my voice right now.
Yeah.
It could be a different accent.
That's right. Maybe you're rehearsing.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows?
We've been planning for a couple of weeks, so you could have been practicing, right?
Exactly.
That's funny. Well, it's been a great talk.
Absolutely.
I want to ask if you have any final thoughts you want to share for the people at home for the pod, and we can go from there.
Final thoughts. Don't be afraid to voice your opinion, so long as it's courteous, polite, lacking any hate speech. Don't be afraid to voice it out. You're not alone. As you can see from this community, there are plenty of other people that agree with you. And just keep pushing through UofT. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a process. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And at the end of it all, you're gonna be left with a bunch of memories that right now you might not think they're pleasant, but you're gonna look back on that and you're gonna be like, damn, sometimes I'm nearing the end of my UofT career.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna attend grad school here in another place, but I'm looking back on my first year and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
It passed by so fast.
Absolutely.
As grueling as it was with the assignments, with the professors, with the TAs you have to deal with, it's still part of the culture that you were a part of. Yeah. So embrace it.
Not something you'll be able to live back for sure. Like, how does it, sorry, I know I said final thoughts, but like, has it affected your mental health? Like, how is running this account, seeing all these confessions affected you personally?
I would say when I'm looking at these confessions, I'm not terribly affected.
Yeah.
There's so many of them that at one point, maybe I've become numb to them, but I feel like I'm pretty like stable in terms of really filtering through which confessions make it and which don't.
Yeah.
And which ones I get to choose to affect me or not. Like, especially when you ask that question about like which one affected me the most, I can't answer that. There's so many of them that merit seriousness to them, weight to them, that it's so hard to just pinpoint one and say this one was the most messed up, because plenty of them are messed up.
Yeah.
You just, I guess, get used to it, or you stay strong enough to get past reading them.
100%.
Yeah.
It's quite the culture at UofT. Quite the culture.
Oh, yeah. There's, I wouldn't say there's no other culture like it, but it's definitely unique in its own way.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
We have Toronto here. Plenty of cultures going on in Toronto that we can relate it to our student lives. And UofT is known to be notorious.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to get through it. Got to work hard. Got to be social. That can be hard.
Oh, that's really hard for a lot of people, shockingly.
Yeah.
As much as there are like resources out there, clubs, whatever it may be, dating apps.
Yeah.
People are still feeling lonely.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to provide them with somewhat of online community where they can share their opinions and maybe connect with people. Like that's my goal, honestly. Even with collaborating with UofT students, I want people to connect with each other. I was talking to somebody from Ryerson, and they were telling me how at UofT it seems so dead. When you walk into the library, everybody is just in their own zone. Nobody's really talking to each other. Have you been ever to like Ryerson and walked in there?
Oh, for sure. Yo, it's right in the heart of the city, and it's like right by the CN Tower, right? I don't know if I've never been to a lecture. What is it like?
Or sorry, not Ryerson, TMU. I walked in there once. I swear to God, everybody there was smiling,
Really?
talking to each other. It was a completely different vibe from UofT.
And it's right down the street.
Right down the street. And you know, like maybe those with a superiority complex will like start shitting on TMU, like, oh, they're not UofT.
Yeah.
I think we should take note of what they're doing. They're definitely doing something different.
You can learn from them 100%.
Yeah.
There's good parts, bad parts of every school. Obviously,
Absolutely.
the education of UofT would be considered superior by many, but the social life plays into it too.
Yeah.
What's the point of having a better institution to learn from if your whole social life is decimated, right?
Yeah, I agree. If you're focusing nonstop on schoolwork, even if you end up landing that job you wanted,
Yeah.
that's not going to pay off. You still need to have some social skills.
Yeah.
You need to be able to interact with other people.
Yeah.
I find, well, even the pandemic might have contributed to this in terms of how antisocial some people may be. But I think we should try our best. We should try our best to connect with as many students as possible.
Yeah.
To form like a framework to even help those in need, those that are feeling lonely.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of students that are feeling lonely. I think by reaching out and by, hell, even just saying hello to somebody during lecture or at the library, I don't think that should be considered something weird.
No. And I think a lot of it is in students' heads. You don't say hi to the guy because you think that they're going to be calling you weird, and it's really, they're also feeling lonely. They're feeling the exact same way.
Exactly.
They're just looking for someone who can say hi as well.
The person you're scared to say hi to is probably yearning for an interaction.
Yeah.
They probably want you to say hello to them.
Yeah.
So next time you're at Robarts, instead of f***ing there, maybe say hello to somebody.
Yeah. That's a great way to end it, man. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the U of Tears admin. Go check out the account. A shout out from me isn't going to completely change your life or anything, but at U of Tears _ on Instagram. Or
Yep.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Confessions there. A lot of funny stuff, a lot of relatable stuff. Comment sections are hilarious. And we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for U of T students.
Everybody go check out Voices of Vic podcast right now. This is the man behind U of Tears telling you to do that.
Thank you, bro. Follow on Instagram at Voices of Vic. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the interview. It was great. And we will see you next Sunday. Peace out.